To find the slope of a line through 2 points, label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So you use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 7, y1 is 6, x2 is 3, x1 is negative 5. 7 minus 6 is 1, 3 minus a negative 5 is 8. 1/8 is our final answer. 2, in point slope form. So again, I'm going to label this point x1, y1, and point slope form is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y minus y1 is negative 11. Whenever you have negatives, it's good to put them in parentheses. M is negative 5. X minus x1 of negative 7. However, when you subtract a negative, that makes it positive. So y plus 11 equals negative 5x. When you subtract a negative, it's positive, so that's plus 7. Final answer. Change this equation to slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to try to solve for y. So I'm going to start by rewriting the equation. And we're going to distribute the negative 5. So y plus 11 equals negative 5x minus 35. To get y by itself, we subtract 11 from both sides. Y equals negative 5x minus 46. To find the x and y intercepts, if you want to find the x-intercept, you plug 0 into y. So to find the x-intercept, it's 5x plus 10 times 0 equals negative 30. Sorry, that's a negative 5x. And anything times 0 is 0, so negative 5x equals negative 30. And divide both sides by negative 5 to get x equals positive 6. Therefore, your x-intercept is 6, 0. Remember, intercepts are points. They're not numerical answers. To find the y-intercept, similar, except you plug 0 into x. If you want to solve for y, you got to get rid of x. So negative 5 times 0 plus 10y equals 30. And anything times 0 is 0, so that's just 10y equals 30. Negative 30. There's no problems, negative. Divide both sides by 10. Y equals negative 3, or the y-intercept is 0, negative 3. So here is your x-intercept. Here is your y-intercept. Number 5, find the y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, we just did that over here. You plug 0 into x. So y equals the absolute value of 0 minus 3. Or y equals the absolute value of negative 3. However, an absolute value can never come out negative, so your answer is just 3. The y-intercept is 0, 3. It says y is 3 when x is 0. This is the y-intercept point. Number 6, parallel. Parallel means same slope. Perpendicular means flip and opposite. Flipped and opposite. So the first formula is in standard form. You can't get slope out of standard form. So I'm going to convert this to y equals mx plus b. 4x minus 5y equals 6. So to do that, I move x, subtract 4x from both sides. And remember, when you write the equation, x goes first. and divide everything by -5. So y equals, a negative divided by a negative is positive, so that's positive 4/5 x, and positive 6 divided by -5 is -6/5. Therefore, our slope is 4/5. The second equation is written in point slope form, so y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Our m is also 4/5, therefore your answer is parallel. To check to see if something is a solution, plug in x, see if you get y. So this is 3/5 times 10 minus 3. To multiply a fraction, you multiply the top. So 10 times 3, that's 30 over 5 minus 3. And this fraction bar means divide, so 30 divided by 5 is 6 minus 3. So therefore, this point is 0, 3. B is a point, C is not a point. Okay, let's try plugging in 10. If you plug in 10, oops, I'm sorry, I just plugged in 10. What am I doing? So this should be 10, 3. So D works, A does not. To do B or C, I have to plug 0 into my equation. So 3/5 times 0 minus 3. And anything times 0 is just 0. So 0 minus 3 is -3. The point is 0, -3, which would be C. So these two are solutions to the equation. The first two are not. For 8, find the slope. Slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Pick any points you want. I'd call this x1, y1, x2, y2. I could have picked these. Doesn't matter. So y2 minus y1, 135 minus 45. x2 minus x1, 3 minus 1. That's 90 over 2 for 45. 45 miles per hour. When it says find the average rate of change between 1 and 5, that means 1 has to be my x1 and 5 has to be my x2. And if this is x1, that's y1. If 5 is x2, then this is y2. So 225 minus 45 all over 5 minus 1. So that's 180 divided by 4 for a grand total of 45 miles per hour. For 9, average rate of change. I say rate of change, you say slope. So I could do x1, y1, x2, y2. -8 minus -13 all over 4 minus 3. When you subtract the negative, this becomes positive. So -8 plus 13 over 4 minus 3. Signs are different, so we subtract them. 13 minus 8 is 5. Has to be positive because 13 is bigger and it's positive. Over 1, which is 5. So that's our rate of change here. Find the slope from x equals 3 to x equals 5. So 3 is x1, making -13 y1. 5 is x2, that's y2. -3 minus a -13, all over 5 minus 3. Whenever you subtract the negative, that makes it positive. And when you subtract them, you get 10 over 2, which is also 5. if your rate of change was not the same, it would not be a linear function. Because these are linear functions, your slope should always be the same answer. Number 10, to graph it. Start at positive 3. 1, 2, 3. Slope is rise over run. Down 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. And you connect these with a straight edge. I'm looking for my straight edge now. There you go. There's your line. For number 11, find the slope of the line that passes through the point. Slopes. x1, y1, x2, y2. Actually, you don't even need to do slope formula. Just plot the points. X is negative 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y is negative 3, 1, 2, 3. Put the point. Negative 3, comma 2. So right or left, 1, 2, 3, up 2. Put the point. So let's graph it now. Okay. So when you graph it, you can find the slope, because slope is also equal to rise over run. So from this point to this point, it's rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, run 2. Your slope is 5 over 2. And if you keep following that slope up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 2, you'd find this other point, which is located at negative 1 on the x-axis, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's our line, there's our point, there's our slope. 12, write the equation that goes through this point, x1, y1, and is perpendicular, and it has to be in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And perpendicular means we need to take the slope is 4 over 1, we have to use flip and opposite. So our new slope should be negative 1 over 4. So y is 20, m, negative 1 over 4, x, negative 8, plus b. Multiply to the top. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8 over 4, plus b. 8 divided by 4 is 2, so 20 equals 2 plus b. And when you subtract 2 from both sides, you get 18 equals b. So the equation is y equals negative 1/4 x plus 18. Change this to slope-intercept form. To do that, first step, move x. Get out the way, subtract 3x from both sides. Negative 9y equals negative 3x plus 18. And the last step is to divide everything by what's attached to y. So we're going to divide everything by negative 9. So y equals negative 3 over negative 9. That makes it positive. You can reduce this fraction. Divide top and bottom by 3 and we get 1/3. So 1/3 x. 18 divided by negative 9 is negative 2. So to graph it, start at -2 and follow your slope. Slope is rise over run, up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Connect them all with a straight line. Find the x and y intercepts and graph. So to find the x-intercepts, you plug 0 into y. 2x plus 4 times 0 equals 12. So 2x equals 12, or x equals 6. The x-intercept is 6, 0. I got 6 by dividing both sides by 2. To find the y-intercept, plug 0 into x. 2 times 0 plus 4y equals 12. Divide both sides by 4. Y equals 3. So the y-intercept is 0, 3. So 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You put a dot at 6, 0. 0, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. And connect those 2 points with a straight line. There's your graph. Write the equation of the line in point-slope form. Point-slope form, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Y minus -1 equals -3, x minus 2. But when you subtract the negative, it becomes positive. So it's y plus 1 equals -3, x minus 2. For 16, here's our graph. Absolute value of x plus 1. So go up to 1. If it's outside, that means it goes up and down. And since it's positive, that means it goes up. And then you follow your slope of up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. But since it's absolute value, it's a V-shaped graph. So you go up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. Connect them all to make your straight line. This graph says plus 1 on the inside. So it is going to shift left 1. I know you think it's going to go right, but it has to go left. Here's why. If you did x plus 1 equals 0, and you subtract 1 from both sides, you get x equals -1, which is to the left. So if it's inside parentheses, you go in the opposite direction. Instead of right 1, you go left 1. Rise over run, up 1 over 1. In both directions. And there is your slope. Your graph. What is the y-intercept and what does it represent? So h equals 2 times 0 plus 7. H equals 7. What this means, if m is months, at 0 months, meaning when you first get the tree, it started being 7 inches high. So your y-intercept is 0, 7. The tree was 7 inches tall when you bought it. Club School hamburgers. Hamburgers and hot dogs. Sounds good. I'm hungry. hamburgers X for $3, so 3X. Hot dogs Y for $2.50, so plus 2.5Y, for a grand total of $240. Okay. So wrote an equation. Let's label the axes first. The X was for hamburgers, so you write hamburgers on the x-axis. These were hot dogs on the y-axis. That right there is worth a couple percent. Okay, let's get the intercepts next. So 3x plus 2.5 times 0 equals 240, or 3x equals 240, x equals 80. 3 times 0 plus 2.5y equals 240, or 2.5y equals 240. Divide both sides by 2.5, y equals 96. I don't want to count by ones on my graph because I won't reach 96. I'm going to count by 8s. So this is 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88, 96. So I'm just going to label every other one, otherwise it gets all jumbled. So x-intercept is 80, 0. The y-intercept is 0, 96. So let's graph those. 80, 0 is right here. 0, 96 is on the y-axis up there. Connect them with the straight edge. Use a straight edge. It's really important that you do. If you don't use a straight edge, then you're going to have a bad time. And it looks like this graph crosses right here, and that's at 40, 48. So that means you could buy 40 hamburgers plus 48 hot dogs, all for $240. To double check, plug this into x, plug this into y to solve. Number 20. This is not a linear function because it has an exponent of 3. B is a linear function. If I were to change this to standard form, subtract 3y to both sides, I'd get x minus 3y equals negative 9. That's in standard form, so B works. For C, this is not a linear graph because it has the absolute values. And for D, that is also in standard form. And 21, find the equation of the line through these 2 points. So slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 13, y1 is 5, x2 is 6, x1 is 3. 13 minus 5 is 8, 6 minus 3 is 3. That is our slope. It said slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use 3 and 5 as my x and y values. So y is 5. Slope was 8 over 3. X is 3 plus b. Multiply the top, divide by the bottom. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And subtract 8 on both sides to get negative 3 equals b. Therefore, your equation is y equals 8/3 x minus 3, with 8/3 being your slope and your y-intercept being 0, -3. Study hard. Good luck.